Howdy AdWords fans, and welcome back. In this chapter we're going to talk about writing killer ads, understanding the anatomy of a Google search ad, and understanding how to craft these ads in the most effective way to really appeal to your target audience. So let's get to it. All right, we're back. So let's start off with talking a little bit about what the purpose of advertising is, what the purpose of the text in our ads is, and what we're trying to accomplish and how we're going to accomplish that. The ad a customer is seeing is just a very short description of the products and services that you offer. The intent of our ad is not to teach. We don't want to educate the consumer about everything, every aspect of our products, all the different characteristics of our service, teaching them about our company. Certain ads will be catered towards people who don't know who your company is and don't know about the products you offer. And certain ads will be catering to people who already know the products and services that you offer. So for example, we're dealing with Poppin, right? So Poppin sells the furniture. And our first ad group is going to be desk chairs. So if somebody's looking for desk chairs, I don't need to teach them about desk chairs. I need to teach them and I need to appeal to them in a way that conveys what is special and what is unique about Poppin's desk chairs and why they should come buy from us as opposed to buying from any number of other results on the page that might look equally as good. And we do that by engaging them and appealing to them. So we want to give them a little taste of what we're about, a little nudge, and a little bit of extra motivation to check out our desk chairs and learn more about what we offer once they're in our store, once they're in our actual website. Another important thing to use to keep in mind is qualifiers. It's very easy to spend a lot of money on clicks that won't generate buyers because of the fact that we're so limited in what we could say, how much space, how much real estate we could say we have in our ads, how much we could actually convey in our ads. We're very limited, and we'll talk about the anatomy of an ad in a moment. But because we're so limited, it's very easy to get someone to click on our ads who really is not a potential buyer. They don't view our products as viable to them. So the concept of qualifiers is to try to utilize your ad space to disqualify certain people from even clicking or disengaging from a potential bad click, a potentially bad visitor. So what's an example of a qualifier? Price. Price is an ideal example of a qualifier. I often recommend people putting the price of their products, especially if you're in an e-commerce store, in the ad. And this is the same thing for service industries. We do PPC management. We put the starting price of our packages in our ad. Why? Because we might get a searcher, we might get a potential customer who comes to Google and they know what they're looking for in their mind. Now, desk chairs range anywhere from $30 to $3,000 on the high end. And they don't know what types of chairs Poppin sells. So let's say, for example, the cheapest Poppin chair is $450. So a great thing to write as a qualifier was desk chairs starting at $450. It's very simple, it's very straightforward, but it qualifies somebody who knows that that's out of their price range. Now, if somebody's looking for the $50 desk chair, they'll skip our ad and they'll move down the page, which saves us money, which is an excellent thing. Another way you can qualify is using dates. If you're running a certain promotion during certain dates, you might want to use the starting date, the end date, to disqualify people who would not be candidates for whatever it is you're advertising. Promotions, on the other end, is a great way to appeal to your target audience. Promotions could be anything from free shipping, it could be from excellent customer service, it could be a free gift, a free giveaway, whatever it may be, especially if they're time-bound. Time-bound promotions tend to be very effective in ad text. It gives people a sense of urgency, a sense of immediacy that they need to find out what's going on now. So qualifiers and promotions, they kind of both they counterbalance each other. The idea of a qualifier is to disengage from a potentially bad customer. The idea of a promotion and using your promotions and your sales and your special offers in your ad text is really a great way to appeal to your target audience by conveying to them what makes you special, what's unique, why these people should buy from you, and why they should buy from you now. Those are the questions that you really want to answer. What distinguishes you? What are the distinguishing characteristics of your company as opposed to all the other companies, and where is that sense of urgency? So that's very important. Now, I want to talk to you a minute about how we're going to structure the ads, how you should structure your ads. There's two things: benefits and features. And people confuse these often, and people tend not to really appreciate the nuance and the major difference between benefits and features. We all know the famous example where we say that people don't buy a vacuum because they want a vacuum. They want this big hulking piece of plastic that takes up room in their front closet. People want a vacuum because they want a clean room. And the same thing goes for every product and every service. And yeah, you could say that people really want something else other than a clean room, but it's usually not the item or service itself. For example, office chairs. Now, people don't want to buy an office chair because they want a chair. They want this physical structure that is oftentimes on wheels. It could roll around. It could hold you when you're sitting down like this. People want a chair because they could work more efficiently. And yeah, well, it's true. People want a chair because they could work more efficiently. People want to work more efficiently because they'll make more money. People want to make more money because they think they'll be happier, but so on and so forth. But you get the point. People don't really want a chair. The benefit of a chair is that you could work more efficiently now. The chairs will relieve the back pain. The benefits are the emotional, psychological, physiological payoffs, the results of our product and service. Features are the physical distinguishing characteristics, the components, the tangible components of our products. For example, for Poppin, we might say a feature could be we have incredible lumbar support. We have superior cushioning. The superior cushioning is what relieves your back pain. The lumbar support is what contributes to working more efficiently. These features are the antecedents of the benefits, but when you're writing an ad, people, human beings, relate more to benefits than they do to features. If you could touch upon a nerve, if you could really address the psychological concern someone has when they come to Google and they're looking for something, then you'll have hit the nail on the head and you'll have written a beautiful ad. So I'm not saying not to put features in your ad. In fact, a promotion could be considered a feature because it's not highlighting a emotional psychological payoff, but it's more important to highlight benefits than features. I've done this test. We've done this test across hundreds of accounts by switching the order. We would have one line of the ad a feature, one line of the ad a benefit, and when we would put the line of the benefit of the product above where the reader would read it first, we would see a higher click-through rate. More people would tend to click the ad because we touched upon a need that they're looking to fulfill. So features, benefits, understanding the difference, it's important, and always highlight the benefits of your product more than the features of your product. And you could do this for any business. So for example, our business, a benefit of using a professional marketing agency is that your company will now grow. Your company will now be more successful. A feature is that we have very transparent reporting that you get on a weekly basis, but that's just a feature. No one really cares about the reporting. They care about the benefits of using a marketing agency. And as a good test, you should sit down and try to think of 5 to 10 different businesses, do a Google search, and see if you can come up with a feature and a benefit for each one of those. That would be a great test, because once you get it down, it'll come by rote, and you'll be able to write and develop your ads at a much faster pace. So let's talk a little bit now about the anatomy of an ad. A lot of you probably know this already by now, but let's just go over it quickly. The first thing we see is the headline. The headline of the ad is 25 characters long. It cannot exceed 25 characters. You could write something which is less than 25 characters, but you can't exceed 25 characters. That's the headline. The headline is the most important aspect of your ad. and I'll tell you why. Google's search results have gotten extremely, extremely good, and the consumer has gotten very, very trusting of Google search results. Gone are the days where every Google searcher is reading the description line 1, the description line 2, the display URL. Many times people will just see something in the headline that looks pretty good and they'll click on it because they know that, or they've gotten so used to Google serving them very relevant and very practical results. That doesn't mean you should ignore and you should not learn how to write good ads through and through, because you'll be writing ads for other platforms that, aside from Google, where that trust isn't there, where people are still reading the ads. You should just know that the headline in any ad you write is the most important part. If you're going to run an A/B split test, we'll talk about A/B testing soon. You want to A/B test your headline first. Next, we have the description line 1. It's the first line of description and the first line of whatever you'd like to include. This is where I would really try to include benefits over features, if you can. The first line of description is 35 characters long. You have a maximum of 35 characters. Once again, you could write less, and I don't recommend writing less. You should try to use up as much of the space, as much of the screen real estate as possible, and you should use every single character that's given to you by Google to convey your message and to qualify those clicks, of course. 35 characters in description line 1, 35 characters in description line 2, then we have the display URL. It's important, we'll talk about this later once we go back to the computer and actually create these ads, but the display URL is not the same thing as the actual URL that the person will land on. It could be different. You could just put your homepage as a display URL, and you could have the destination URL go to a, poppin.com/furniture/office desks. But it's important to remember that the display URL and the destination URL have to have the same root domain. I can't write as my display URL poppin.com and send them to a page on Amazon. Beneath the display URL is where we're going to have some extensions if we set them up. Now, not every ad, in fact, most of the ads on the Google search engine results page on the SERP will not have ad extensions. Usually the top 3 ads will have some ad extensions, and there's a whole different variety of ad extensions. We saw a little bit in the previous chapter. There's phone call extensions, there's site link extensions, there are call out extensions, there's review extensions, there's address extensions, and it's usually below the ad where you're going to see them. Sometimes Google will append a phone number to the headline. That does happen quite a bit, but oftentimes most of the review extensions, the phone call extensions, and definitely the site link extensions, these 4 boxes, the maximum amount of site links you could have are 4. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's important to remember that site link extensions also have headlines, description lines of text, 2 lines of description of text, and a final or destination URL. Those are the site link extensions. And it's great. If you're going to choose one extension, I generally would recommend for most businesses use site link extensions. They create, like we spoke about in last chapter, more options for the user. They create a higher quality score in Google's eyes, and they take up the most real estate on the screen out of any of the available ad extensions. Now, keep in mind that you always want to have more than one ad per ad group, and we'll go over this point again. You always want to have more than one ad in your ad group so you're able to A/B split test those ads. It's very important to test the ads. We might think we're writing the best ad possible, but the data will really tell us if we're right or not, and we'll talk about A/B split testing, how to A/B test, what to A/B test, how to analyze the results, and all that good stuff in another chapter. But just to keep in mind, you always want to have more than one ad per ad group. Now, a few things to remember. So that's the anatomy of an ad. That's the skeleton of the ad, and we're going to jump back at the computer in a minute, and we're going to actually go and create an ad, our first ad for Poppin. Some things to remember. Your landing page URL should be going to the most relevant page for the product or service that you're advertising in the ad. If this ad group is focused on desk chairs, then this ad's destination URL should be the page that talks about desk chairs. If I was getting more detailed and my ad group was only targeting the big and tall wheeled desk chairs on my website, then this ad should go to the page that talks about the big and tall chairs. If this ad group was just talking about pencil holders, then and the keywords in this ad group were targeted keywords related to pencil holders, then the landing page on the website should be the page on my website that displays and where I could shop for pencil holders. Now, this is very intuitive. It makes a lot of sense. I don't need to really explain why this should be the case, but believe it or not, many advertisers will just send traffic to their homepage. They won't really care about this, but it's crucial. It's a major. This will have a major impact. If you send people to the exact page where they could browse and view, buy, or inquire about the products and services that they were looking for, your conversion rates, the level of engagement on your site will be much, much higher than if you send them to a generic page and then they have to hunt and continue to hunt for the answer. They already came to Google looking for an answer, and now they have to go to your homepage and look for the answer again. That's why Google cares a lot about landing page relevance. The more relevant the content on your landing page is to the text and the query the user searched for, the higher quality score will be, because that's a better Google experience. Google doesn't want people still having questions after they leave Google. Google wants their customers, the searchers, to leave Google and have their answer solved after that one click, have their question solved. That's what Google wants, and that's what you as an advertiser should aim for. So whatever page on the site deals most directly with what you're advertising and the keywords in this ad group, make sure that that's the page that you set as the destination URL in your ad. And we'll talk more about this later. A few things to remember. So once again, the most relevant landing page. You cannot use excessive capitalization in your ads. Don't capitalize the word free. Just avoid capitalization at all costs. Most likely your ad's going to get suspended. Intercapitalization. You can't have, if you're the word free, capital F, lowercase r, capital E, lowercase e. That doesn't work. It's not, Google's going to catch it and they don't like it, and your ad will be disapproved. No phone numbers in the ad. If you want to have your phone number in the ad, you need to add a call extension. Harmful, violent language, of course, that's a given. Not only will your ad get disapproved, but you're likely to have your account suspended, which is more difficult and more cumbersome of an issue to deal with. Foul language, same thing. No exclamation points in the headline. This is something which people really forget, and your ad will get disapproved and you'll have to change it. Only one exclamation point per ad. Google wants their advertising to be very classy, mature, and really elegant. And no, they don't allow excessive exclamation points, and they only allow one per ad. Trademark terms, if you're trying to advertise on trademark terms, which happens a lot for legitimate reasons. For example, if you're a travel agency, you might target searches where people are looking for British Airways. But if British Airways trademarks British Airways for AdWords, your ad will be disapproved. The display destination URLs can differ. We spoke about that. They don't have to be the exact same URL. What you show, the display URL is just a URL that shows to the user. It's not the actual / extension subdirectory that the user actually goes to. They could differ, but they have to be the same root URL. Remember, the same root URL, www dot, whatever comes after the dot and before .com, has to be the same in your display URL and your final or destination URL. And then the last thing is one destination URL per ad group. You could only have one, you could only have one destination URL per ad group. So this hopefully gave you a really good comprehensive overview of the techniques you want to employ when writing your ads, the anatomy of a Google search ad. We'll talk about display ads in a separate chapter. That's a whole other can of worms, but this is what a text ad on the search network looks like. A huge amount of focus should be put on benefits and features. That's really important. Understanding the concept of qualifiers, understanding promotions, engage, appeal, not to teach. Listen, if you're the only person in an industry that's advertising for this product and you need to use the space to teach them what this is, then by all means go for it. But if you're the only person advertising for a product, you might not have the best product. But engage, appeal, you don't need to educate, you don't need to teach them everything about the product. Just give them a little hint, give them a little taste of what's to come. And remember the basic guidelines. Let's jump over to the computer now and actually go and create our first ad. We'll see you soon.